Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today we have with us Travel Headquarters. Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today we have with us Travel Headquarters President Heidi Van Arm and Julia Sabota, Development Director. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Wonderful.
Good. Glad to have you on the show. Now, Heidi, we want to start off with you, and I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and the Travel Headquarters. Okay?
Okay, a little bit about myself. The reason why I'm in a wheelchair is because when I was 16 years old, I was shot, and it left me quadriplegic, paralyzed roughly from in the neck. There's 7 cervical vertebrae, so C4, C5.
Okay, okay.
And
pretty much, how did you get started in the travel business? Excuse me, the travel business.
I got involved in the travel business when I finished college and I couldn't get a job, and so I decided I would just start my own business. And so I got into the travel business, and we also specialize in helping people with special needs.
Okay, when you say helping people with special needs, is that as far as like their travel arrangements and services they need?
Yeah, if somebody's traveling in a wheelchair and they need to get a room with a roll-in shower, or somebody has a hearing impairment, they might need to get, you know, something special like a bed shaker so that they can hear an alarm go off, things like that.
Okay, so is a lot of people aware of your agency, or how does one find out about you?
You know, we don't do any kind of advertisement. All of our all of it's really from word of mouth. So.
Okay, so it's a combination of everyday people traveling, and if a person has a disability, if you are aware of it, then you can make the arrangements for them.
Sure.
More suitable for them.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Now, also, I know that you have the Heidi Van Arm Foundation. Okay, so we should say Travel Headquarters / Heidi Van Arm Foundation. What is the foundation about?
Well, the foundation was started in about 6 years ago, and we started it to raise money for spinal cord research, because at the time when we started, there really wasn't a lot of money being raised, and so we wanted to bring awareness to spinal cord injury and also towards research, so we could raise funds for research, and that's really how it all began. Okay,
so 6 years ago, huh? And standing strong?
Strong, yeah, and we're working hard. We have a group of us that volunteer time and just raise as much money for spinal cord research as possible, and that's how Julia and I met and started getting involved.
Okay. Well, Julia, we don't want to leave you out. I didn't want to tie you in with the Travel Headquarters, but you are Director of Development for the foundation. Okay, and what is your role specifically?
Well, basically, I just assist in developing different programs that we have, different things such as every April, Governor Engler's declared Spinal Cord Injury Awareness and Prevention Month, and we go out to the various schools and we have a Spend a Day in a Wheelchair program to educate young people about what it's like to be in a wheelchair. And we do a number of other things. You know, we've done public service announcements with the Detroit Red Wings. Chris Osgood, Darren McCarty, Chris Draper, wonderful guys. So we do different things, and I help in organizing events and that kind of thing.
Okay. Now, is that bringing a lot of money into, or, you know, does it help out?
Well, the programs that we do that she was talking about, that's more of awareness programs. And we do that, and we volunteer our time, and that doesn't bring any money in. But it's the fundraising that we do that really brings money in. We do that through, we do golf tournaments. In the past, we've done fashion shows. We do parties.
We do a pool tournament, too.
Pool tournament.
Okay.
Yeah. Fifth Avenue in Royal Oak.
In Royal Oak every year.
Yeah, we pretty much get everything donated, which is really what's so unique about the foundation. We don't spend a lot of money on expenses and that kind of thing at all. I mean, very, very minimal. So all of the money that we raise, I think it was, what, 86% of it last year, something like that, went directly towards research. So
a lot of time people put on fundraising events, and they'll put a dinner together, and then they'll get a celebrity, and they'll get fund, you know, they'll get silent auction items, and before they know it, they've spent 50% of the money that people, you know, are paying their ticket for towards the event, and so us women are strong.
Okay. Okay, so we can beg better. Okay, okay.
We can.
In the event that you do this, now the foundation is in your name, more or less. Okay. So in the foundation, do you actually go out and meet persons in wheelchairs, other recipients, and explain to them what the foundation is about?
Yeah, you know, I'm very involved in the disability community. In fact, before I started the foundation, I was a board member for the Center for Independent Living, and I did that for a long time. And so I've been involved for a long time, and it makes a big difference because I know, you know what people are doing and how things are changing, and it's amazing. I mean, things are so much better than they used to be. Even 5 or 6 years ago with the American Disabilities Act.
Do you feel that you're an inspiration to a lot of people?
You know,
especially young people?
I've heard that before. I don't know if it's, I guess you could say maybe an inspiration, but maybe someone, yeah, I mean a little bit, but I wouldn't use that word personally.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I don't feel it because it's me.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess if I looked at someone like Christopher Reeve and what he goes through, I'd see him as an inspiration to others. But
well, I'm sure a lot of the young people who have spinal cord injuries look to you and say, "Wow, she has her own travel agency. She has a foundation. Do you drive your own car? Are you in transit or anything?"
I don't drive my own car.
Okay,
I want to.
It's okay. It's okay to have a chauffeur.
Well, you drove though, actually. Didn't you drive that?
Yes, I can drive, but I mean, there is a way I could drive, but it's so expensive right now.
Okay, okay.
It's like buying a plane.
You managed to do well for yourself as far as like you know, taking care of Heidi instead of someone else having to do the majority of the work. You know,
there's a lot of things I can't do for myself, but I never let what I can't do get in the way of what I can.
Okay, so wonderful. Now I am aware that you write for, is it the Detroit News? You write a column for the paper?
Every Thursday.
Okay.
It's called Disabilities Today. Yep.
Okay. And how long have you been writing for the paper?
That's been about a year, and I used to write for the Detroit Free Press before on travel tips and things for people that have disabilities. But I felt that there was so much information out there that people weren't getting, and I have all the information. People send me more stuff in the mail, so I thought it'd be perfect just to write a little column for it and get the word out.
So we can look in the what paper?
In the news, Detroit News.
We also have a website too for the foundation.
Okay.
www.vanarnam.org, and it gives a lot of information about spinal cord injuries, people that are newly injured that they can go to and find some resources there in terms of getting along and overcoming some of the disabilities.
Okay. Now, how do you feel being involved with such a program?
How do I feel? Oh, it's a great inspiration. And Heidi, I've known Heidi now for a few years, and she is a tremendous inspiration because I see every day what she goes through and the things that she accomplishes, and it's wonderful. Okay. And getting to know people with disabilities has really enlightened my life and made a big difference, I think.
You get to appreciate what you have.
You do. You appreciate what you have, and everyone has their strengths and everyone has their weaknesses, So, and you realize that, so.
Okay. Now, does your staffing, as far as the travel headquarters, is that a combination of persons with disabilities and non-disabilities? I think that's important to have on hand, a combination of individuals to work with, not just, I'm not trying to separate us, but I think in order to understand one another more readily, if you work together or if you live together or you do something, play together, it gives a better light on understanding what I go through versus what you go through every day.
Yeah, we're represented really by what we do, and if you don't have a job in this capitalist society, it doesn't look so good, always.
So in actuality, when you got out of school, you almost knew that you weren't going to have a job, or was it the type of job that you were looking for?
You know what? Before my accident, I knew I was going to go to college. And so after my accident had happened, I didn't have a choice. I was going to go to college. My mom did not give me a choice to say, you're not going to go. So, yeah, so then the next step was just to get a job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in going to college, did that strengthen you there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess everything probably strengthened me a little bit, but I think the most important thing was that, you know, it's not something you just felt like when I graduated. I felt like, ooh, you know, I'm strengthened. But it was what I did every day that I kept going, you know, and I didn't give up. And you know, when I had a bad day, and I just decided, you know, I was going to get up and, you know, go to school, and I was going to, even if I was sick or, you know, whatever the case was. And then eventually, after a while, things got easier, and, you know, I forgot about, you know, even being paralyzed sometimes.
Okay, okay.
But it doesn't happen overnight.
I wonder sometimes when you have your own business, we've had a lot of guests that has come on and told us that companies had practically forgotten about them. You know, in other words, whatever their disability was, the company just wasn't willing to deal with it. And that's sad, because you would think that companies would be willing to say, well, what can we do to keep you on?
Yeah, but things are changing so much. And with the American Disabilities Act, they're making adaptations in companies, and people are more aware, and things are changing. So I think even from a couple years ago, with the President's Committee on Employment, I think,
we attended that conference. That's a nice conference.
Things are going to be so much better in the next 5 years.
Okay.
There is still a large majority of people with disabilities that are unemployed. It's the
50%.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, there's still a need out there, so there's an employer watching.
But it's getting better, I think.
Right, right, okay. So let me ask you this now. If, getting back to the travel headquarters, seniors, it's a regular agency, right? I mean, not regular, but it handles accounts for seniors, everyday persons, persons with disabilities,
everybody.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I can call and tell you that I'm in need of a trip to Florida, and it's that time of the year. And
Hawaii.
That's even better. Okay, and I need to rest. Now, if I'm a person that's profoundly deaf, I can't hear at all.
Sure.
Do you have a TTY or TDD?
TDD?
Yeah.
No, you know, we use the relay system.
Okay.
Yeah, but we were in the process of purchasing a TDD, but we don't get a lot of people calling, you know, that are profoundly deaf.
Okay.
So,
well, you know, that's a form of, you know, I mean,
we definitely get it if,
yeah, but you'd be surprised, you know, people in the hearing impaired and profoundly deaf world, they don't know unless you tell them. I mean, in other words, if you find a way to advertise, they'll find a way to respond to you.
Absolutely.
You know, so, and then you have to learn the method, you know. That's another language. That's just like speaking an entirely different language, but it's useful. And when you go to the airport and you see a person tagged, you have no idea until you actually look at the tag close enough and you say, oh, that person is, people rudely say, that person is deaf. Not necessarily, but whatever the choice word is, that person wants to fly and go around the world just like anyone else, you know, and take care of his business just like anyone else. But it's good to know that you have a combination of services that you provide for, you know, people, period.
We see people as people. We don't see people as having a disability, you know, whatever their special need might be. I mean, some people might want a king bed and they don't have a disability, so whatever the individual needs are, that's how we look at it. Okay, okay. So travel. And so if you came to me and you had polio, I wouldn't look at you as somebody with polio. I would look at you as someone, what your needs are. You know, what is it that you need to take the vacation? That's how we look at it. Okay, so travel could be by plane, by train, by... We'll try to find a way for you to do it, yeah. Okay. It's time for me to go on a cruise. Okay. Well, ladies, that's good to know. Okay. So, okay, now with the foundation, the fundraising events and everything that you currently are doing, do you actually go out and, you know, solicit to get the person to come and say, hey, I need for you to participate in this particular event? Sure. Yeah, we have corporate sponsors as well that sponsor the event, and that's how we get a good majority of our money. Yeah, and we know a lot of people in the community just since we've been involved so long. Like we have different people, like in our last events, like we've had Bob Seeger and Ken Calvert's been involved, and Lila Lazarus, and I mean a lot of people, you know. But it's because we solicit them, and you know we know them, and people know us too, which is a good thing. Yeah. That's wonderful. It's a good thing. Okay. Well, ladies, let's take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Oh, Maria, Elmo sure is excited about going for a ride.
Same here. Elmo wants to sit in the front seat. Elmo must sit in the back. In the back?
Kids always sit in the back, Elmo, with safety belts fastened. Look at Gabby.
And little kids sit in special safety seats.
A special seat?
That's right, Elmo. You ready?
Yeah!
Remember, kids sit in the back seat and everyone buckles up.
Hi, and welcome back to the second half of the show. For those of you who are just joining us, we have Heidi Van Arm and Julia Saboda of Travel Headquarters. Now, ladies, we left off with some very interesting questions here. One I wanted to ask, and I'm going to back up a little bit. Heidi, when someone asks you about being a person with a disability, how would you like to be described?
You know, it never bothered me, you know, whether it was called, you know, person with disability or, you know, whatever, someone in a wheelchair, you know, anything like that. But, and I used to use the word handicapped, but the word handicap is a London word, and it came from people sitting on the street with a cap asking for a handout. And so recently they've changed the word. In fact, they've taken it out of most literature and most organizations. Now it's people with disabilities. Like the Michigan Commission, it used to be Michigan Commission for handicap
affairs or Michigan Rehabilitative Services.
Now it's Michigan Commission on Disability Concerns. So and I know Wayne State changed their terminology just recently. Okay. After they learned that. So that would be the, I guess, person with a disability or.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't really. I mean, so overall, the term doesn't bother you.
No. I mean, well, the word handicap.
Well, you don't like the word handicap.
Yeah, but just a person with a disability.
Too many of us like that word.
Yeah, like I've never heard somebody say, "Oh, look at that physically challenged girl."
Right.
Or whatever. But
so. And some people prefer to be considered physically challenged more so than the word disabled.
Yeah.
More so than the word handicap. And I think like you said, they've taken the word out and they've changed it around, changed the meaning around, and hopefully people will start to use the other terminology instead of the old standard. That's the same thing as I saw in the newspaper article, a person was considered deaf and dumb. I don't think that because you're deaf, it makes you dumb. Right. I think that's two different things, and I was surprised to still see that. Which in the hearing impaired world, it's hearing impaired and it's profoundly deafness. So it's two different terms. But our society has to be upgraded. And
it's not deaf.
Right.
Deaf is not the word to use anymore.
Okay.
No, I didn't know. It's not not used anymore.
It's considered profoundly deaf, which means total loss.
Okay.
And impaired means partial. Okay, so that's the proper term. But like I said, society has a long way to go to study, and I think the new generation of school-age children coming up, they'll be the very ones who have, the right terminology of everything and what it really means. And what do you feel about going into the school systems? Do you do anything with the school systems? Are you visiting the schools?
Yeah, that's a big
thing that we do.
Okay. Spend a day in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Spend a day. Okay, so what happens when you spend a day in a wheelchair?
Okay, we drop off chairs at the beginning of the week, and different students spend a full day in a wheelchair. And what the point is for them to feel what it feels like to be in a chair and not be able to get up and walk out, ask the teacher a question, run over and see your friend, whatever it is. And at the end of the week, we do a big assembly and have the students that spent the day in a chair up on stage, and we talk about what the day's like. And then the point is that we want these people, these groups of people that are listening to us, whatever schools it is, we want them to think about what they do. I mean, the choices that they make in their life. Like for me, I could have walked out of a room and I wouldn't have been shot, and I wouldn't, I wouldn't be in it. When I saw the gun, it didn't scare me. I just stayed in there and kept talking, and I could have walked out of the room. And we want students to know, like especially with spinal cord injuries, 85% of them are preventable. So, walk away when you see a gun. Okay. Don't get in a car with a drunk driver.
Don't dive in shallow water.
Yeah, don't dive in shallow water.
Okay.
Simple common sense things that we don't always stop to think about before
we just take for granted.
Do things,
True.
It can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
A gymnast just got a spinal cord injury from like a simple trick just this last week from China. So it's, it can happen anytime to anyone, anywhere.
I think football is a very contact sport, and that's a hard one. So it's the way people decide they want to live their life.
And not everyone's going to become paralyzed, from playing football. That's not our message. Our message is be careful and protect yourself. Because it could be you the rest of your life.
I think the football player Reggie Brown. Well, I'm sure he's what they call a miracle person. To see him,
Well, I think he knows that too.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, with Mike Utley.
Even just with like spinal cord research that's been done in terms of Gloria Estefan, years back when she was in that accident, she is able to walk again, and that's to the thanks of all the research that had been done up until that point.
Okay.
So, I mean,
we're moving in the right direction.
We are moving in the right direction. We're making strides with the research that's out there. So.
Okay.
Yeah, 15 years ago, who knows if they'd be walking today.
Right.
Yeah.
You're so right about that. What about devices? Do you have any particular devices that you use? Or I think we read an article about the sling.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom and I patented a lifting device.
Okay.
And it's funny because to lift someone like me, either you pick me up, or they use a belt or sliding board, which is so ancient. I don't know.
Okay.
Or a big, huge Hoyer lift, which you can't take out in public and be lifted in and out of a Hoyer lift. So it's just this little parachute piece of material, and we transfer. I can have Julie, who's 5'2", she could transfer me back and forth like 15 times a day, because it's a pivot. It's not a lift. And
okay.
It's really
and
it's one of those
you
common
designed
sense.
it?
Yeah, my mom actually invented it, and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How's its market rate? Is it doing well?
Yeah, it's doing well, but yeah, it's doing well.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm sure whenever, you have to make accommodations for yourself, the individual, and not always will you have someone around you. So you have to do what it takes to make you comfortable. If you're hungry or have to go to the bathroom or whatever, you want to change the channel, you can't always wait till someone appears in the room and say, hey, you don't have a cowbell, ring the bell, come here. So whatever it takes to make the person's life more accessible and convenient for a day-to-day activity, if you have to design it yourself, that's even much better. That's why I think about companies, employers. Employers should be more than willing to, work with you, so that not only are we working together and learning from one another, business is still going on.
Even like public places, like restaurants and stuff like that. Most of them are adapted, but there are still some out there that you have to call first and find out if they're accessible, because they just need
it's a huge market, 54 million people.
Right. And do you actually call ahead of time to find out?
Sometimes, yeah.
But not that often.
Not that often, but sometimes you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to be sure. I mean, if it's a place that you've never really been to before, or a small place, it's kind of like offset. You like to call.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, at least you know in advance if you want to go there or not.
Yeah.
My favorite restaurant, I can't go there anymore. So
oh no,
that's kind of disappointing.
Well, you know what though? You know what I would do if that would happen? I'd call the restaurant and I'd talk to the owner and I'd say, "Are you gonna, be putting a ramp in, or, are you gonna be making any changes?" Because a lot of times people aren't even aware. They don't know that they're turning business away, unless somebody lets them know.
That's a lot of percentage. It's a high percentage of disabled persons that would like to go to the restaurants, that would like to go to the movies and everything else, but it's not accessible to their needs.
They've definitely got to start opening
I figure
their mouth.
if you can vote, if you're a disabled person, you got the right to vote. You have the right to have all the rest of the accommodations to go with it.
And once these accommodations are made, and buildings are made with wider doors and ramps are put in, it's a piece of cake. To inclusion.
Now, does your articles, do you ever speak about things like that in your news articles?
My big push is employment, making things adaptable.
Okay.
Just making people's lives better.
Do people write back to you and ask you questions or thank you?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
We have to write to you. Okay. Okay. So actually, when you write a column, you're in the Sunday paper or?
Thursday. Thursday in the Metro Life section.
Okay. And what section?
Metro Life.
Metro Life. Okay. Well, look for you
on the back side where the weather is.
Okay, well that's fine. We have to start cutting you out and saving you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No more Weather Channel. That'll have to be the back of the news.
All right, that'll be just fine. Now, so you have a schedule of events that may be coming up. Do you have events that come up throughout the year?
Yeah, we do. Pretty much annual events.
Yeah. August is the golf outing.
Is the golf outing.
January is
September is we do a disc golf tournament, which is like a Frisbee golf tournament.
Okay.
And that's about 280.
Yeah. You have a lot of wheelchair, or do you have a lot of disabled
those two events aren't a lot of people with disabilities.
But at the dinners,
dinners.
During dinner, like the afterglow type thing. Okay. And then we have a pool tournament, too, at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak during January. Yeah. Around January time.
Okay. So and other scattered events,
Okay. Kind of scattered, but
now, do you send the information out? So
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So now, are you a nonprofit? Is
501c3.
Yeah. 501c3 . Okay.
Which people probably don't know what that means. But
if someone want to volunteer or get in touch with you in reference to
we'd
the
love
foundation,
it.
you have a number?
Yeah, you can call. You can visit the website even.
Yeah,
actually.
you know, the easy, well, if people have, yeah, vanarnam.org.
Okay.
Or they can visit, or what was it, the phone number?
Yeah.
248-647, or wait.
626.
Thanks.
2444.
Okay.
626-2444.
248-626-2444.
Okay, so that's the Heidi Van Arnam Foundation.
I'm getting scattered on which phone numbers.
Well,
too many.
When you're in the travel business, the phone always rings.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You never
so
rest.
Are you looking for volunteers, or are you always taking volunteers?
Yeah, all the time,
Okay.
Absolutely.
Sure.
You can never have too many volunteers.
Okay, let's get that website number one more time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
vanarnam.org.
vanarnam.org. Spell it out for us, Heidi, so people...
Okay, VANARNEM.org, O-R-G.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a www before that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
www.vanarnam.org.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's lots of information.
But you know,
on
you don't
there.
have to type that in anymore. You can just do vanarnam.org.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so it's a shortcut.
Yeah, I just learned that. I thought you had to do HTTP.
No, you don't have to do the
// www, and I don't even do www now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we can go straight to the point.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so the
Less typing.
website...
That's a revelation.
Okay, the website will help out those who are interested in finding out information.
More about spinal cord injuries.
More about spinal cord
I
injuries.
mean, the foundation isn't just for spinal cord injuries, and we do other events and other things.
Okay, okay. And your calendar events, are they noted on your website?
Yes, they are.
Yep.
Okay.
And there's also other additional resources there too, like links to some other sites that might provide information about a disability that maybe they have. That
Yeah, and if you come to an event, we'll put your picture on the...
Yeah, there are lots of pictures, so visit.
Yeah.
Look at the pictures from previous events and that kind of thing.
She's coming to an event so she can get her picture on there.
Okay, okay. Well, ladies, we look forward to hearing from you again. Please, at any time, come by and see us, and by all means, drop us a line on any upcoming events and things that you're doing. We will try to attend some of your upcoming events in the future, and like I said, feel free to come back. And for those who are interested in contacting you, we'll flash that phone number and that .com, HeidiVanarnam.org. Okay, yeah, we'll have that all up on there on the screen for you a little later. And as usual, you all know who I am. I'm Marsha Florence, your host for Just Ask. And as I always say, if you know someone with a disability, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. I'm your host. Thank you.